China deal, we wanted clarification. We had to have clarification, and that's what we're really having the meeting about. We had a very good talk. I talked to President Xi for, I guess, more than 2 hours. We had a very good talk. It's a complicated deal, but it's a deal that's, bring us a lot of money and a lot of everything else, and we get along very well with President Xi and with China.
U.S. President Donald Trump said Chinese leader Xi Jinping has agreed to restart the flow of crucial rare earth materials. The announcement came after a rare, high-stakes call with Chinese President Xi Jinping on June 5th. Trump described the 90-minute conversation as productive, saying they straightened out rare earth issues. Speaking to reporters at the White House, Trump recounted his call with Xi, calling it productive and optimistic. He called the matter very complex stuff, but did not provide clear details on what was actually agreed. When asked about it later, Trump confirmed Xi agreed to restart rare earth flows, but gave no timeline or volume.
China deal, we wanted clarification. We had to have clarification. A little bumpy up here. We had to have clarification, and that's what we're really having the meeting about. We had a very good talk. I talked to President Xi for, I guess, more than 2 hours. We had a very good talk. It's a complicated deal, but it's a deal that's, bring us a lot of money and a lot of everything else, and we get along very well with President Xi and with China right now.
Magnets?
Say it, what?
Did President Xi agree to restart the flow of rare earth minerals and magnets?
Yes.
The two leaders reportedly worked through several sticking points in the trade deal that has seen months of turbulence. Rare earths are crucial for everything from electric cars to fighter jets, and the U.S. relies heavily on Chinese supply. Notably, China controls 90% of the global rare earth processing market and has used it as strategic leverage before. Beijing restricted rare earth exports in April after Trump escalated tariffs on Chinese imports during the ongoing trade war. The move disrupted supply chains for U.S. automakers, chip makers, and military contractors. This comes just days after Trump publicly accused China of violating the initial trade agreement reached in May, an agreement that both nations had hailed as a breakthrough following months of stalemate and retaliatory tariffs. Under the terms, the United States agreed to scale back tariffs on Chinese imports from a staggering 145% to 30%, while China committed to reducing its own tariffs on American goods from 125% to just 10%. While Trump did not specify which provisions were allegedly breached, the charge has deepened existing mistrust and reignited concerns about the viability of further negotiations. However, China strongly denied violating the deal, instead accusing the United States of taking unilateral actions that seriously undermine the mutual understanding reached during previous rounds of talks.
We had a very good conversation with President Xi a little while ago, just before your arrival. In fact, we just hung up and they said, "You're here." I said, "That's pretty good." Two great leaders of the world in a very short period of time. We had a very good talk, and we've straightened out any complexity. It's very complex stuff, and we straightened it out. The agreement was we're going to have Scott and Howard and Jameson will be going and meeting with their top people and continue it forward. But no, I think we have everything. I think we're in very good shape with China and the trade deal. We have a deal with China, as you know, but we were straightening out some of the points, having to do mostly with rare earth, magnets, and some other things.
So those reduced trade tariff rates, they remain in effect?
Yeah, we have the deal. I mean, we've had a deal. We announced the deal, and we'll be, I guess you could say, I wouldn't even say finalizing it up, Scott. I would say we have a deal, and we're going to just make sure that everybody understands what the deal is. Okay? We had a really good conversation. By the way, he invited me to China, and I invited him here. We've both accepted. So I'll be going there with the First Lady at a certain point, and he'll be coming here, hopefully, with the First Lady of China.
Mr. President, you came from Germany.
Go ahead, please.
Did you talk about the Chinese students? Are you allowing them to come to the U.S.?
Chinese students are coming. No problem.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, and then I chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July 9. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said, we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th. You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. This country was dying. You know, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. I went to Saudi Arabia. The king told me. He said, we have the hottest country in the world right now. 6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation. You set a number. And if you go down, if I set a number at a ridiculous high number and I go down a little bit, a little bit, they want me to hold that number, 145% tariff. Even I said, man, that really got up. You know how it got? Because of fentanyl and many other things, and you added it up. I said, where are we now? We're at 145%. I said, whoa, that's high. That's high. They were doing no business whatsoever, and they were having a lot of problems. We were very nice to China. I don't know if they're going to be nice to us, but we were very nice to China. And in many ways, I think we really helped China tremendously because, they were having great difficulty because we were basically going cold turkey with China. We were doing no business because of the tariff, because it was so high. But I knew that. But don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question.
There are no winners in tariff wars or trade wars. Bullying or hegemonism only leads to self-isolation. China will work with LAC countries to implement the Global Development Initiative. We will resolutely uphold the multilateral trading system, ensure stable, unimpeded global industrial and supply chains, and promote an international environment of openness and cooperation. We should foster greater synergy between our development strategies, expand high-quality Belt and Road cooperation, and bolster cooperation in traditional areas such as infrastructure, agriculture and food, and energy and minerals. We should expand cooperation in emerging areas such as clean energy, 5G telecommunications, the digital economy, and artificial intelligence, and carry out the China-LAC Science and Technology Partnership. China will increase imports of quality products from LAC countries and encourage its enterprises